Joining us now, Charlie Cook, the famous founder and contributor to the Cook Political Report with Amy Walter and a columnist for the National Journal. Charlie, so good to have you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me on, Steve.
Okay, so there's three things we're thinking about here. One is the general overlay of the drift of what's happening in the electorate, maybe against the incumbency towards. There's also the gerrymandering going on. And then there's this critical issue Emily just talked about, which is what's happening with retirement. Maybe take those one, two, three. Start off with the general overlay, the drift of what you expect historically when it comes to a midterm election with Republicans in the House and in the White House.
Now, voters are in a really sour mood. And, one way to look at it is about 48% are going to vote Democrat no matter what, and 48% going to vote Republican no matter what, which leaves only like 4, 5, 6 in the middle. And those people, they were really disappointed by President Biden. Now they're disappointed with President Trump. They're upset about with Congress that swing vote in the middle. I think there's a really, really good chance it's going to be swinging against Republicans. And I think for Republicans, they see that this mood is not real great. And to be honest, when I talk to former members of Congress that have retired in the last 10, 20 years, not a one of them regrets leaving. I mean, not a one. And, there's an old line that people run for Congress for one of two reasons, either to do something or to be somebody. And the ability to do something has gone way down. And the esteem of Congress means that you're not really elevating yourself that much necessarily.
Well, let's get to that retirement thing. The numbers that Emily reported, 44 in Congress, 9 senators, I guess 30 of which are Republican, 23 are Democrats. Is that a large number relatively? And what kind of impact will it have, do you think, on the outcome of the midterms?
Yeah, it's a large, for this point, it's very, very large. One thing that happens, and this is kind of inside baseball, but Republicans in the House have term limits in terms of committee chairmanships and subcommittees and all that, so that they tend to have more churn than Democrats do. And that's one reason why you see a lot of much older Democrats in the House than you see Republicans, because they will have, termed out. But, this is a big number. And when a party thinks that when a lot of members think that their party is about to lose their majority, in the House, in the Senate, you could be in the minority party and still be somewhat influential. In the House, if you're in the minority party, you're nobody. And, I think some Republicans are not anxious to go back into nobody status.
Sure. Let me just go back to the general overlay. Our latest CNBC All-America poll showed a 4-point advantage for Democrats on congressional preference. It was lower than some other polls, but it was the highest we've had since 1920. Are there other polls, are there other things that suggest to you that there's a greater preference for Democratic control now?
There is. And one of the things is when you think about, doing a national survey, and yours is usually about 1,000 voters or so.
Correct.
1,000 people, that only about maybe 70 or 80 of those would be in swing districts.
Right.
And so, the Republicans tend to live in redder districts, Democrats in bluer districts, but in these swing districts in the middle, they tend to be disproportionately independent. And President Trump's approval rating among independents is down in the 30s, low 30s, in fact, so that it looks worse for Republicans in swing districts than it does in sort of the national numbers overall.
And then there's this gerrymandering issue, which there was Texas, and then California came back, and then Indiana refused to go. What's the status of all this in terms of, I guess, just count in terms of who was winning the gerrymandering race, which is not something that I think anybody wanted to be a contest they wanted to win. But I guess that's where we're at right now.
Well, yeah, Republicans thought they were going to be able to just basically grab 5 in Texas, and didn't really anticipate that Democrats would respond in kind in California. Overall, I think it's going to be close to a wash. Maybe Republicans come out a seat or two ahead. But if you're headed for election where your party was going to lose 15 or 20 or 25, a seat or 2 or 3 isn't going to make that much difference. So in net, Republicans may gain a tiny bit from that, but it's nothing compared with what a party usually does if they've got a president with the kind of numbers that President Trump has right now.